All right, y'all. So I have the productivity tool or method that you could call it that is absolutely going to change your life. I know there's so many out there, whether you've come up with your own or you've used ones that have been on the internet and you've learned from other people. Like, I know it's hard, right? Like, we kind of go through these productivity, sort of journeys in our life, and then we kind of fall off from it because maybe the method that we used or the method that was ourselves that we created for ourselves rather, just isn't something that's sustainable because it's overwhelming, it's too complicated, right? There's all these things that deter us from continuing to do that, and then we lose, that art of being productive. And I've been to the same boat, but what I have found is this Ivy Lee method that has been around for ages now, and I think it's the most simple but effective way to be productive for myself, right? Without things being too complicated, because I know there's a lot of things that go on in our lives, and I want to share it with you guys. So I will preface by saying that there is just a basic level to this method, but for productivity psychos like myself, and probably you as well, I was watching, there's a more detailed version of it that I've also found that I think will make it even easier to stay productive and kind of make it simpler in your head. So I'll get into all that, but the first way of looking at just the Ivy Lee method is to write down the 6 most important tasks for the next day. And the key is the next day, right? Because you want to create this list the night before, because when you start your day, you want to just get into it, right? Like, you don't have to be thinking about what you have to do. You just want to just start taking action. That makes life a lot easier. So it could be anything, right? Whatever you find is the just 6 most important tasks, and you don't have to initially, when you create the list, have it in order, but after you have all your ideas down, or honestly, even just write everything you think that's important down. From that, then take the 6 most important ones that you need to get done the next day, okay? And by doing this, by the way, this is how you get out of a puppet mindset. Puppets just go about their day and they just start thinking about doing tasks randomly. There's no structure to it. It's just whatever comes to thought, they just go there, but then halfway through they switch tasks because they think something else is important. Get out of that mindset. Like, being a pioneer is about being structured, being productive, using methods that have already been applied, that are already out there for you to use and apply to your life. And if you're someone that's struggling with this, that's in that puppet mindset and wants to be able to think like a pioneer, you should check out my 7-day newsletter. It's just a transformational mindset newsletter that I created in just 7 days. It's free. I basically tested this on myself. I use neuro-linguistic programming. For those that don't understand what that is, you can look it up, but just a simple definition of what it is just the study of the process of human thought. And I've tested on this myself the last year because I feel like I used to think of like a puppet. I took the 7 the best techniques I felt have changed my life to start thinking as a pioneer. And I put that into a newsletter for you guys. So the link is in my bio, and just check it out if that's something that would interest you to get your mind on the right place. So, but back to the topic at hand. So write down, like I said, the 6 most important tasks. Then when your day starts, you start to just go down it one by one. Okay. So, and what this does is it helps you not wander, right? Because you said last night, like, hey, this was the first thing that was most important to me. You fully complete that task until it's done. You don't think about any of the other tasks until that one's done, and you continue this process through. Now, the key is that some of you are probably wondering is, but like emergencies come up, like, oh, there was an unexpected call I had to make, or there was something I forgot that was more important than this. What I would say to you is just take care of that. Like, make it simple for yourself. Just replace the task that you thought was more important, or rather you didn't realize something was more important than the task that you have written down. And just swap it out, right? Like, don't complicate it. I know things come up, but the goal is try to stick to that list as much as possible, right? Like, that's why we write the list out the night before. So just keep that in mind, right? Like, I know things come up, okay? Then as the day goes on, a couple days pass, 3, 4, 5, 6 days pass. see if having a list of 6 tasks makes sense for you, okay? Because if you don't, right, like let's say you don't finish all 6 of those tasks in a day, the tasks that were remaining or like left over, right? When you're planning for the next day, make sure that is part of the next batch of important tasks for the following day, as long as you think it's important, right? Because I would think it'd be important if you had it written down, right? More than anything else that you have like moving forward, like any task moving forward. But, you know, keep that in mind. Like maybe it's for you, it's only like 4 tasks you can only accomplish in a day. Maybe it's 5 tasks that you can accomplish in a day. Like whatever that is for you, make it simple. But this is the baseline and the idea behind the Ivy League method, which for me, right, like I found this very helpful initially. Like as I was starting to do it, I'm like, okay, you know what? Like this is a way to stay productive, especially for people like yourself. If you're like me, you have multiple interests or multiple things you have going on in your life, right? Like you want to be able to fit in the tasks that are important in each of those pillars of interest that you have. But as I was doing this, and excuse me, I need some water actually. I'll figure it out later. But what I was saying was like if that's a little too simple of a method, right? Because I know that there are certain tasks that if you're like myself, that it's very important for me to learn, but it may take too much time, which is why I'm not able to get all 6 of those tasks done in a day, right? And you may have multiple tasks that you believe are very important to get done, but because of the fact that, you know, there's not enough time in the day to complete like, let's say 3-hour-long 6 important tasks, right? Like we don't have 18 hours to dedicate just to tasks all day, right? There's other things we have to do in our lives. This structure may be a little too simplistic, but it's a good start. So the alternative, right, is it's still this Ivy League method. I keep saying lead for whatever reason. Method plus the value versus effort matrix. So the value versus effort matrix is another productivity matrix that you can look at on your own time. But the combination of these two make things a lot simpler, and I'll explain why. So it's still the same base concept of 6 important tasks in a day, but your first 2 tasks are going to be high value, low effort tasks. Your tasks from 3 to 5 are going to be high value, high effort tasks. Sorry, I'm a little sick, guys. Apologize if I keep like breaking randomly. And then the 6th task is going to be a low effort or low value, low effort task. Okay. And I found this a lot more helpful because let's say you have an appointment you need to schedule for the doctors because you have an injury, let's say, right? Like that's a very high value task, but it doesn't take a long time to schedule an appointment, right? Or you have, let me think of something like, it's basically what I like to think of the high value, low effort tasks are basically like checking your like bank accounts, make sure you have all your payments made, make sure you're scheduling appointments. Think of it as those things. And then I think of high value, high effort tasks as me like deep diving. Like I'm a software engineer. So for me, if I have like a project I have to code, that's gonna take time. Or if I'm like learning a new language, like I need to take a course to do that, like that, there's value there, right? Or it could also be if you're someone that's trying to get into fitness, like or you're trying to sustain that, right? Like it's about going to the gym, spending the necessary time, learning all the exercise you have to do, right? And then low value, low effort, you know, that could literally be anything, right? So you decide what that is for you. But this is a lot easier to schedule out your days because, like I said, you can't have all 6 high value, high effort tasks a day, right? Because there are so many things that are important, but you're not gonna be able to get everything that you want every single day because there's just not enough time. But being able to structure it in this manner will help you tremendously. So I hope you guys like this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the Ivy League method. And if you are, you know, like I said, crazy about being productive like myself, the Ivy Lee method plus the value versus effort matrix, you know, that, let me know what your thoughts behind that, if that makes it easier for you, if that, or is that more complicated. Share with a friend that needs to hear this. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is all about this channel is all about bulletproofing your mind to maximize what life has to offer you. And when you have so many different interests, so many different pillars of life that you want to accomplish, you need to have some sort of productivity. In this case, I'm saying this method because this works the best for me, but some sort of way to structure your days out that will allow you to maximize what life has to offer you. So I've seen it in myself and I want to see it for you guys as well. So I'll catch you on the next one.